Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Combating Cancer. My name's Gwen Kelly, and I'm your host. If this is your first time tuning in, I just want to say hi and thank you so much for joining this community. A little background information about me for my first-time listeners here is that I was diagnosed with stage 3 astrocytoma brain cancer at the age of 19. And the reason why I created this platform is so I could have a safe and honest space for those either in active treatment, in remission, grieving the loss of a loved one, a caregiver, or someone that just wants to come on and learn better about cancer and how to support someone they love. So today I have Onnaka Gerloff. Onnaka was diagnosed with astrocytoma brain and spine cancer at the age of 7. And Onnaka is now 14, going into her sophomore year, and I am so excited to have her on as a guest today. I was super happy when I got the DM from you. It was so sweet. I really appreciated the kind words about everything that I've been doing with this platform, and I am so excited to share your story.
Me too.
So why don't we talk about where you are right now? Before we started recording, you told me you're going into your sophomore year. You're not a huge fan of school, which neither was I, but you are currently the manager of the volleyball team of your grade. Is that correct?
Yes.
So what kind of things do they have you do?
I'll be taking stats, or if the girls need their water bottles filled, I'll go run into that or help set up the nets and just different stuff that's not me playing because I'm not able to do the contact sports.
Yeah, that's so fun. And are all the girls super nice, or what's kind of your experience with that?
Yeah, all the ones that I've encountered are really nice. I've never encountered one that is mean or anything.
That's always good, the fact that you can still be involved in a team sport like that, even though you love volleyball, but you can't play contact sports. Is there any other sports that aren't contact that have interest you in thinking about playing, or not really?
Not really.
Not really? You're not a golf player? Me neither. I tried it out a little bit and I just do not like it. It's not for me. I get a little bit bored.
Yeah.
Going into your sophomore year, how are you feeling? Are you like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to get done with high school? Are you thinking about college?
I haven't really gone looking into what colleges I really want to do yet. I kind of just want to focus on what I'm doing right now because I never know what the future will hold. So I'm kind of focused on right now. We're not looking obviously I'm looking enough to where it's this is what I want to do, but not so much into the future and just focusing on the present because I never know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Yes.
I totally agree with that. I'm very much the same, as we have similar diagnoses of having to take one day at a time, but also still being that would be interesting if I wanted to do that in the future. Is there a specific type of study or fields you're thinking of that you would be interested in?
I'm thinking I want to be a child life specialist.
Oh, wow, that'd be amazing. What makes you want to do that?
I feel like I can connect with the patients more, considering that I've been in their shoes of being in the hospital and going through different, say, treatments or the IVs and different stuff. And I feel like I can just connect with them more closely than other staff members can because I get what they're going through and at the same age as they are, and not an adult being oh, it's just a little pinch. And I had one last week, but it's also still that fear of, but you're not my age, you're how much older, to where I felt what they're feeling when I was their age, or maybe younger or older, but still around that same age gap.
For sure, you've walked in their shoes, which is definitely going to be helpful in the future when you go down that path, because you're hey, I've been through this. I understand what you're going through. I'm not just saying I know what it's like and I haven't been through it. When you were diagnosed at 7, do you want to walk me through initially how they found out that you had brain and spinal cancer?
It started off with I was getting major headaches because of the fluid buildup. And I was getting super bad headaches, sensitivity to light, sound, throwing up, and the typical as you would expect. And then one time my mom was going to give me some medication for my head. And then I ended up just throwing up everywhere, to where she's like, okay, now it's time. It's been more than a few days. We're going to take you in. They took me into the emergency room. I had a quick CT scan done. And then we ended up finding out that it was a brain and spine tumor. And then I was rushed to Trojans in Milwaukee to get like further testing done.
How did you feel in that moment when you found out something popped up on the scans? Because I'm sure that's scary no matter what age you're at. When I was 19, I was like, oh my goodness.
Initially, I don't really like remember much because it was mom that found out first. I don't remember exactly where dad was, but dad was not with us at that point. He ended up getting our stuff and then following the ambulance to the hospital. But I don't really remember much. I just remember mom saying that I have to be taken to another hospital because they found something wrong. And because I was hella young, they didn't want to bring like scary words in to where they're just like, you're really sick to where we need to go bring you to another hospital to get different testing done. One memory that I distinctly have is one of the nurses handing me a little pony and a Barbie doll.
Okay. Did you
So
name the pony and the Barbie doll?
I probably did, but I don't remember it. I just remember I was playing with them on the ambulance on the way to the hospital because it's 3 hours away from my hometown.
And was your mom pretty calm when she was telling you this news that you were sick?
I don't remember like too much in details, but I think she was kind of keeping her composure around me. But I feel like there were some moments where I was like, you could tell that she was stressed, but not understanding why, because I fully didn't understand what was like going on really.
For sure. And then when you got to the hospital that was 3 hours away, they did more testing. Did you end up having to get surgery?
Not immediately, but I did end up getting a programmable shunt. And then later down the road, I ended up getting a port for my first chemo treatment. But like when I got to the hospital, I'm pretty sure it was a couple days, like a day or the next day. Because it was pretty late when we arrived to the hospital. So I'm pretty sure it was the next morning or the day after that I ended up getting a programmable shunt.
And then can you explain what a programmable shunt is for anyone that's listening who may be unaware?
I don't even know how to describe it because it was an external one, but it's where like they can like turn a valve depending on how much to drain the fluid buildup from your brain to go back to remember what the body part is called, but like where it's supposed to be to where it's not building up in my brain and causing the really bad headaches.
So you basically drain any type of fluid that's out there.
Any
and then
excess fluid.
Yep. And did you
Yeah.
have to do that, or would the doctors go and do that, or your mom? or
The
your dad?
doctors.
Okay.
The doctors will do it.
Was that painful at all when you had that done?
I don't think so. I don't remember. No, I don't think it was though. The only time that it was painful was one experience, and nurse ended up draining all the fluid from my brain, and that made it hurt. But that's the only time I remember it hurting really bad.
Yeah, I'm sure. And then was it a couple weeks later or a couple days later when you started chemotherapy?
I think it was a couple weeks.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure I started my first treatment around January or like end of December, and I was diagnosed early December.
How did you feel when you first got that port in? Were you inpatient, or were you just there for like a couple hours at a time during a week? Do you remember?
I went once a week, every week for a long period of time. I'm not sure exact timestamps anymore, but I would stay for a couple hours during the day to get my chemo treatments. At first, I was just like confused because like normally I would know from other people that you would normally get like a poke in your arm or sometimes the top of your hand or like top of your foot. And then next thing you know, they're like, oh yeah, we need you to like pull down your shirt so that we can poke like in the chest. And I'm like, what do you mean? And the first time I would always and still to this day, a giant glob of numbing cream to like make sure it's numb. The first time was like really good and I was able to do it quick. And then the second time I was expecting what was coming and like more scared, or I started crying. And I think it's funny because I bring this up every day, but my dad ended up passing out because he was like, whoa. But I bring it up to this day because I think it's funny.
Oh, your dad passing out? Yeah, that is funny.
Mm-hmm.
When you were there getting the chemotherapy, was there other people around you? Were your parents able to sit in the room with you and hold your hand?
It was my mom and dad, and that's pretty much it. That's how it was for the first round of chemo. It was my mom and dad.
Okay. And during that round of chemo, were you losing your hair at all, or did you keep your hair?
My first chemo treatment, I did lose all of my hair. At first, it started like thinning, and then it would come out in clumps, and then it just like all fell out.
And that's got to be pretty scary. I remember when I lost my hair, I was trying to prepare myself because the doctors told me. But when it first came out of my hands, I was just a nervous wreck and I was so devastated. How were you feeling when your hair was coming out?
I was just like really confused because I was still young and like still kind of like getting the ropes and understanding what was even like going on and all of that. But I feel like it hit more because one of my sisters, when like that first chunk came out, I was like just holding it in my hand and confused. And my sister started crying, and then it hit for me, and I was like, okay, something really has to be going on. Because like I didn't fully understand, but I could tell that everyone around me kind of did.
Yeah, that's got to be hard, especially being that young of not really understanding what's going on and then growing up and kind of looking back and realizing what you've gone through. How do you feel like you reflect upon that? Is it kind of all a blur?
There's bits and pieces that I remember, but a lot of it is a blur. There's like some photos that I see from my journey page that kind of spark a little like, oh, I kind of remember that, but a lot of it is just like a big blur.
And then how many rounds of chemo treatment did you have to end up going towards? Because I know you started when you were 7. Do you know how long you had to go until?
I don't remember exactly how many like different rounds I had to do of each treatment, but from when I was first diagnosed until now, I've had 5 different chemotherapies.
Do you feel like each different chemotherapy has gotten more severe when you're getting the treatment done, or do you feel like it's been the same severity each time of
It
like pain
fluctuates.
tolerance? Okay.
It would always fluctuate. The first one was really bad, and then the second one was slightly different, and then the third one was pretty bad. The fourth one didn't feel much. Then the fifth one, it was pretty bad in the beginning, and then we lowered the dosage a bit, and then it got better, and I was able to manage it. So they all like fluctuated, but
Right. Isn't it like interesting how people try to prepare you for chemotherapy and they're like, hey, this is what I'm going to deal with. And you're like, okay, cool. And then you do it and you're like, that is not the same type of chemo I was getting.
yeah, no.
So then, from what you've told me, you're currently not going through any type of chemotherapy. Your tumors are stable right now. Are you going in for scans, or what is the current process that the doctors are having you go through?
I've been doing scans every 3 months. My next one should be like end of September time. And then we'll find out more. As of right now, my last scan, they've been stable. But we're going to continue probably doing every 3 months. And then after a little bit, if they continue to be stable, then I'll probably do it every 6 months. And then maybe I'll get up to like once a year.
Yeah, that's amazing. I am at the same point as you right now, girl, of doing the scans every 3 months, which from my experience is not fun. I get a lot of anxiety. I have scans actually coming up on August 3rd. So I'm a little bit stressed out about that. How do you feel when your scans are coming up? Do you get nervous at all, or?
I used to get really, really nervous, but we started like, because my anxiety would get super bad, and I have an adverse reaction to Ativan, to where they don't really know because there's nothing else that they can really give me to calm me down that doesn't counteract with my other meds, to where we started just having me sedated for my scans, because they're like 3.5 hours long, and then most of the time it's about due time for me to get my GJ tube changed, to where we just sedate me, get my MRI done, and then get my tube changed while I'm under, and it's been working out pretty good for the most part.
And then what is that tube that you have? Can you explain that a little bit?
The GJ tube is a feeding tube where one of the lines goes to my stomach and the other one goes to my intestines. And for a while, I was super malnourished, and I would have to do feedings to keep the weight because I was so skinny to the point where it was hard for people to even hug me without it hurting. And just, it was really bad to where I had to do that for a long period of time.
How long have you had the feeding tubes in for?
After like halfway through my first chemo treatment, I had a NG tube to where I had the nose one. But then after a while, after they were like, okay, you've been on it for a super long period of time and are still needing it, to where I just had the G, but then the formula wasn't sitting well with my stomach, to where now I have the GJ and I've had that for a pretty long period of time. I'm not currently doing feedings, but I'm still keeping it in for like, in case I were to need it again.
And can you feel it at all or not really?
Sometimes my clothes will rub against it, or like different soaps sometimes will irritate it, but most of the time it's not noticeable.
It's just become part of your routine in your body a little bit? Okay. Well, I am super happy that your scans are stable. And I love that you're not really struggling with any of the scanxiety. Teach me your ways, because I wish. I've been 5 years out and I still have the little nervousness beforehand each time. So I like that they have come up with the ability to sedate you, because those are long MRIs, like 3.5 hours, and having to get the tube switched out, like that's a lot.
Yeah. For a while, I did it every month because they were trying to make sure that the tumors were stable. So it just kind of became a routine. And I feel like it was more helpful because I did it so often. And I was hella young when I first started, to where it just became like a routine as I was growing up, to where I feel like when I was younger, I kind of like started like, oh, this is what I'm scared of. This is what I'm not scared of. And like, this is what I like and dislike, to where I just kind of got used to it, to where I wasn't as scared of it.
Yeah, for sure. That makes complete sense. Is there any advice that you would give to someone going through similar treatments, or just finding out they're diagnosed in general? Because this has been a journey from 7 to 14. I mean, this has now been ongoing for 7 years. And obviously these scans and these doctor's appointments have become embedded in your every single day routine. Is there something you'd want people to know?
Really find your people that like you can really talk to, and find different stuff, like different hobbies. And like one thing is I have like certain ground rules for when I'm doing stuff. I'm like, this is what are my like ground rules, and like don't overstep it, and advocate for yourself, because that's one thing that like will really help you in the long run, is like making sure that you're a really big advocate for yourself, and just keep pushing, and it does get better eventually.
I love that you brought up having ground rules. I don't think that's something people talk about enough. Can you give us a few examples of what those look like for you?
So like my parents are a big advocate for me, but then another one is like making sure that like if I say something, they're listening to me, even though I'm a child, that they still listen to me and not just go off of what my parents say, because it is my body. When I'm getting my port access, I don't like counting. I like them to tell me what they're doing and everything. And I like it to be quiet, because I get really overstimulated when there's them like talking and doing all this stuff. And then like, even if they're trying to have like small talk while they're trying to do it, my brain knows that they're just trying to distract me, to where it's like I overthink it and then I go like in a spiral.
Just because someone is young doesn't mean they don't deserve a voice in their own care. At the end of the day, it's your body, and you know what helps you feel safe and what doesn't. I hope the doctors and nurses listening take that to heart, because those little things can make such a big difference. Before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to share with someone who might be listening today, whether they're a patient, a parent, or a healthcare provider?
I think that's pretty much it. I don't think there's much else.
Onnaka, thank you so much for being here today. I know your story is still being written, and I'm really honored that you let us be a small part of it. I'm so happy your scans are stable, and I'll be praying they continue to stay that way. I have no doubt you're going to continue inspiring people just by being yourself. That is the end of today's episode of Combating Cancer. As always, if this message resonated with you, please share it with someone else who may need to hear it. I am so thankful for Onnaka and for the ability to share amazing stories like this. If you or someone you know want to come on and share your story, or you have business inquiries, or just want to ask questions, please feel free to message me. And as always, thank you for supporting this community, and I will chat with you guys all next Wednesday.